is, or just he can just tell us what he thinks. So as far as I'm concerned,
Put it on the agenda as old business.
yeah, under.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you feel time rush, I don't want to feel rushed in making a decision on that today. That's why I was.
Yeah, I would definitely want him doing his background on it. He's going to have the better answer than I will.
Will there be a motion? Will there be a motion to be made?
As far as
The dispatchers.
we'll need somebody to.
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow dispatch employees to sell some unused leave,
Vacation.
And then we'll pay it out.
pay it out.
Pay out.
Do we want to make that specific to this year only?
Yes.
Yes,
And at the end of the year.
At the end of the year?
it's a one-time situation.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Dave, did you have something else?
Well, we were just discussing a little bit on payroll and how confusing this might be, especially with the sheriff's department. I'm not sure this 2-week pay period is going to work out very well for us. I mean, the way it turns out, the last pay period is going to be the 19th, so they'll be short, 10 days of payroll. We're not going to go back and pick that up for the...
Where the decision to pay twice a month came, we had a department head meeting, and I think it was up at the EMS building. That suggestion from the department heads was brought to the board that that's what employees wanted, was to be paid 2 times a month. And so that's where that came from. If you want to go to once a month, I don't care. I just need to know from the board,
Well, we're set up right now for twice a month.
Well, no, we're set up, we just got through paying our last once a month payroll. So, we're going to be finalizing if you're going to pay twice a month, we're going to be finalizing a lot of things in the system and in the setup and all of that. If you want to pay once a month, that's your decision. We'll get it set up that way. I just need to know what you want, how you want to pay your employees.
Take time to listen to Cody kind of explain. And
I guess
here,
right.
I think when we agreed to this 2-week, we thought it'd be simpler, but I'm not sure it is. This is going to require double time for department heads on a certain day and things like that to get this done.
My biggest concern is, it goes back to a policy thing, and we've talked about the policy book and all this and that. The sheriff's office, there's nothing in writing about, even underneath the current policy, we're told that we're 171 hours and 28 days, but we don't have it anywhere written. That's my biggest concern, is that, and maybe Deb has a better answer to it than what I have, but what are we and how do we do that when we're paying twice? If we're going to stay at what do they call that? 5 Is that what they?
Well, it'll be split 50-50.
Okay.
So your 171 hours are going to be split 50-50 between everything. And even the withholdings, the deductions, we have to go in there and we have to split them 50-50. But we can define those in our income deduction tabs. And then it filters out to everybody. That's why I say I need the decisions today, because if we're going to pay once a month, we're fine. If we're going to pay twice a month,
Yeah, although, employees need to be thoughtful. If we play once a month,
That's what I thought till they started.
there's going to be that delay. That was why there was the whole discussion about doing
That's right.
the 2 months. There's going to be a delay in payment because we're now moving to a actual accountability system where you only report time worked, which is why I was hesitant to cut off time. That would go on to the 10th.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that's the other thing is if we move to a month only, employees are going to financially feel that because there's going to be a delay.
and they need to understand that up front.
Yeah, and that's...
There will be 2 weeks, there will be 2-week delay in getting that. Like in October, if we go to pay once a month, you're not going to get that check until the 15th of November. You're going to go those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
And that's been the way it is almost every, like when I worked at Frontier Ag, you're always
Yeah,
2
that's
weeks
where
in arrears.
most
It's pretty normal. I guess to explain it, my concern is a delayed concern, and I apologize for that. And I recall the conversation at the emergency building you're talking about. And I know I was in the minority during that conversation because, like I said, my deputies, they work 3 on, 3 off. And if there's some of those pay periods, there's times when it could catch where they have hardly worked because of that 3 on, 3 off during that time frame. I mean, at the end, they're going to receive the same. It's just going to take them longer to return. You understand what I'm trying to?
No.
Okay. Okay. So let's say on 3 on.
Here, I want to simplify something, though. I mean, ultimately, a decision has to be made by the board today about whether or not they want to pay out. And, I mean, here's the thing. This has been circling for like months at this point. So I understand what your concern might be. And ultimately, if the board does change your mind and that you want to go to once a month, we could do that. But a decision has to be made today before you guys leave. Because only Deb cannot make this decision. She has to have the authority of the board. So, I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but at the same time, I feel like we're getting into like complicated issues that will not be solved today.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to
Decided.
What I'm trying to say is make a decision and put something in writing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I will
it's
say for
3
the
guys,
payroll
either there's 2
department-
employees, anybody.
Does that make sense what I'm
Combined.
saying?
No.
What they'll do the
I'm
employees.
sorry.
If they want
I'm saying,
once a month,
I'm
once
saying
a
I
month.
feel like
The
I'm in limbo.
employees wanted twice
With
a
answers to my
month, not
employees.
the supervisor.
Not on the 2 weeks in arrear. Everybody understands that.
Well,
But
okay,
again,
stick
back
with that
to
then. If you're
how is this
guaranteed that's what
managed?
they all want.
Our hundreds, because she said it's going to be split between
I mean,
two
I'm
months.
just sick of
You
this.
may only have X amount of hours, a lower amount of hours in the
I
first 2
mean,
weeks.
I don't mind
Right.
it.
And
I mean,
the
I've
second
been
2
paid once
weeks,
a month for 40 years.
You've got, say we did a shift
Doesn't
change,
bother me.
and you switch from day to
But I
night.
mean, they
Okay.
started out,
And
they
then
wanted
all of a
paid
sudden-
twice a week, and now they want
Now,
paid
because
once
you had a
month.
delay of
What
5
the
days
hell?
before you came back to work.
Why can't they make up
Even though you
their
worked the
mind?
171 in the month,
I will
in the
say
28
for the
days.
payroll
I did
department,
the schedule.
it would be
You're
much
working 171 hours in
easier
that
to
28
keep it
days.
once a month.
But there may be a time period where you only have 5
But
days
employees going to have to
that you
understand,
actually
you're
had
going to
boots on
have
the
a
ground
2-week
during that 2
period.
weeks. I
If
guess
they
that's what
don't
their
have a
theory is.
dime, and if they got mortgage payments,
Of actually
they're shit out
keeping
of luck.
track of the
And that's
28
why
days
we gave
when
them
we're.
time
But we're
to
having
take
that
care of
problem
their
already. I mean,
personal
you and I have
finances.
talked about the fact that
Exactly.
We all
this
have
monthly
our own
time
personal
period is not a
finances.
true accurate representation of 28 days
So-
anyhow.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But that's
It would
an
be much
issue
simpler to do
Yeah.
it once
one
a
way or
month,
the other.
but-
And that's more of a human resources
we're
payroll
on the
tracking
same
issue
boat.
that exists currently under being paid once a month.
Okay. And I guess what I'm trying to say today is, I'm going to go back to what I said beforehand. I know that's what we're paying is the 28 day, 171, and I'm fine with that. But is that what we are? Has anybody made a decision that is official that that is what we are? Because when Austin Peters came in and I told them that, they said they found no record that that's what we are.
Agreed.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Is what I want today, what I'm pushing the board today for is an answer. Is that what we are? And is that officially what we are? Because I need to make schedules based off of the new pay periods.
The
which I
question
can do.
here is, they are treated differently than every other department. Differently, no one else is affected,
Just the patrol, not the
just,
dispatch.
yeah, just
patrol.
SO patrol. The issue is they're treated 28K, is that?
And it's not, it's something else. That's
Okay.
what we call it, that's all.
So basically, they have a 28-day time period. But there is, when Beth and I talked about this and we looked into it, this has been just happening, but there's nothing in writing ever, no policies, no resolutions, nothing. My guess is at some point, someone in there was like, they're on this 28-day system, and then informally every year, they've just continued to be treated that way. Right?
And because of our rotation between night and day shift and 3 days on, 3 days off, we make a schedule 3 months at a time. And that's why I'm asking for a decision, because I'm going to make my schedule different if we're like everybody else, a 40-hour week, 160 hours in a 4-week period, than if we're 171 and 28. I need to have a definitive answer so I can make the schedules
I see what you're saying.
going into this, get paid every 2 weeks, so that somebody doesn't have schedule switch between day and night and they only have 3 days in the pay period and they're taking home their family check with only 3 days. I could adjust for either way. I just need an answer of what we are doing. Are going into this 2-week pay period, going into Time Clock Plus, are we 28K or are we, you have the option of doing it either way. 28K is a win for you guys because instead of 160 hours before they reach overtime, it's 171 hours before they reach overtime. You're allowed to abuse law enforcement that way. FSLA lets you do that. But I need to know the answer so I can make schedules so that people can get consistent paychecks on the 2-week. I don't really care if it's 2
And I will
weeks or
say,
1 month. I just need to know.
This is a decision that needs to be made, because quite frankly, HR and the clerk has been doing this because it's been informally done, but there is no formal policy. And so to break it down, 2 options, and this does need to be answered today. What I'm hearing from you is you don't have a problem with the 2-week for now.
I just need an answer.
Are you going to treat them with the 28-day, or are you going to treat them like every other employee when it comes to overtime? That's all that needs to be decided today for Deb.
Make a motion, we treat them like every other employee and we go for 2 weeks.
That's fine. I could do. I just either answer's fine.
Sorry it took me such a long time.
Well,
I could have lied and said I was explaining, but that's why I'm honest,
All those
because
in
now I do
favor, by saying
understand.
I
aye.
had no idea what
Aye.
it was. I get it now.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Okay, motion was made and carried. Any other business? I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All those in favor, say aye.
I'm sorry, I clouded. I'm just like, I need